Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and let's talk about Phoenix #1 because I read Jean Grey, the Phoenix. Phoenix. Now, you guys already know that I was going to try to see because y'all already know how much I do like Jean Grey, the Phoenix. Y'all already know I am definitely like one of those kind of people who's a sucker for Jean Grey, the Phoenix. And I said, okay, let me read this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm reading it. You know what I mean? And of course, there's already, you know what I mean? Like, it's already controversy because apparently, Phoenix issue #1 is up in controversy because guess what? Somebody decided that they wanna trace the work, right? So the artist for Phoenix #1, you know what I mean? So the artist for Phoenix #1 is using Oliver Sembelian's work, I believe. There has been pictures and drawings of it or whatever. I think the artist is what was it? Alonzo or something like that. If I can remember the artist. Oh God, I read the darn thing. So Alenzio something, right? Morocco is the artist for the Marvel brand new series. Phoenix is part of Marvel's From the Ashes, right? And it's written by Stephanie Phillips, which honestly, for Stephanie, this is actually pretty good compared to her usual work, which is hot trash. She doesn't really fully understand Jean Grey and the Phoenix, but compared to what I was thinking the story could have been, this is pretty good from her. And it wasn't like the book was boring, but my problem was with the whole having a narrator character talk about Jean Grey Phoenix and talk about things that she did when the character wasn't there to experience it. That was my problem. You know what I'm saying? And trying to blame Jean Grey Phoenix for the because Jean decided to save these criminals who were about to be sucked up in a black hole prison, and it was either stop the Dark God or let these people get killed. And I know some people was like, Jean should have went for the Dark God, but who could, she couldn't have predicted like, oh yeah, he's going to be transported to another planet and kill these people. You know what I'm saying? Because Jean and the Phoenix want to make sure they use their powers to help the universe. With all of that unlimited power, they shouldn't be just restricted on solving the Earth's problems. They should be out there helping the universe, and that's what they're doing. So that's what Jean Phoenix been doing, is that she's been going around the universe, teaming up with different cosmic characters of the Marvel universe and trying to bring forth some savior. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to change what people look at the Phoenix, because remember, most people remember Phoenix from the Dark Phoenix saga, where she ate up a goddamn sun and killed all those people. Even though a lot of people tend to forget about the myth of what a Phoenix is: life and death, ashes and rebirth. Like, that's kind of the whole gimmick. And I'm not talking about Jean Grey the Phoenix. I'm talking about the Phoenix in general, in myths. That's why when people will be like, oh my God, Jean Grey the Phoenix rise or whatever, or they took away death. Well, if you really think about it, they literally called her the Phoenix, which is a creature who literally dies and gets reborn every couple of years or millennia, depending on, you know what I'm saying? And with that with that life comes death. You know what I'm saying? So it is always weird how people are like, oh, I blame Gene for this. No, you really shouldn't, because Gene literally had a cosmic deity called the Phoenix Force. And what is the Phoenix? Right. So it makes sense for Gene to die and be reborn again, because that is what the Phoenix is, if you guys go back to myth. But I'm really surprised by Stephanie Phillips. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, the book's not that bad. I know Wes and Doc from Thinking Critical, they were like, what the fuck is this shit? I mean, because of the whole nonsense with Alessandro Miraglio, swiping artwork from, other artists, especially Oliver Coppola, which honestly you can see it. But honestly, this I think this is one of the artists that I've been saying that the work looked like it's AI generated, honestly. Because I remember I told a friend, I think we were looking at this artist's work, and I think they did a Superman piece or whatever, and I said, this shit looks fake as fuck to me. And you know me, I'm not trying to say that I'm better or whatever, but I'm like, I don't know. This looks really AI traced. It looks like I could do better. And once again, I'm not saying that I'm a great artist or anything, but it's just like, but then now you seeing like all of these images, all these images of work, because Oliver Coppola did a lot of Marvel work, especially his X-Men and then Avengers vs. X-Men, which a lot of these panels are from Avengers vs. X-Men if you line them up. So I get why people are like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I know some people like to bring up Greg Land or whatever, but it's just like with Greg, he's doing photos. You get what I'm saying? So he's taking, photos and doing the same thing, kind of changing them around, while you got this artist is literally overlining their work onto another artist and just saying like, hey, I'm getting paid for that. You get what I'm saying? At least with photo references, it's photo references. Kind of like how, everybody knows that Alex Ross gets some of his friends and people to actually dress up like the DC characters, take pictures of them, and paint from that. You get what I'm saying? So it's, and then of course, people like to bring up, the whole 3D assets or whatever. But a lot of artists have said that they use, what I'm saying? Like even Clayton Henry, I believe he did that Superman book. He did that Superman book with My Adventures of Superman, John Kent. And if you look at some of his work that he's put, he do draw the characters, but he traces the city. Does that make sense? And there's nothing wrong with photo referencing the city, because, honestly, I think that's why I don't really draw cities or whatever, because I feel like in order for me to get the cities, because, it feels like I feel like I have to be pressured to actually draw that. But if I was going to draw a city, I would literally overline some tracing paper or whatever and take a city scope, and I would, trace it, because I'm not going to try to figure out how to draw a city by myself. I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an architect, and I'm not going to sit up here and pretend to be one, just to draw a city or whatever. So I get the photo references, and I even been looking at this on some of the social media things. They have like this little things called Pose Archive or whatever, or Dynamic Muses, or Pose Muses or whatever. And it's like this these couples, they make creative poses or dynamic poses, and then they put it online for you to use to draw your own character over or practice your posing. You know what I'm saying? So that's really cool. So I'm not going to knock that kind of stuff. What I am saying that with Marvel is, if you're going to pay this artist, let this artist do their own work. Or some people surmise is that they were probably told to do this work because of the fact that Marvel and DC back in the past did have people that, you know, when Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane and them left for Image, they would hire artists who could mimic their work. So they're, you know what I'm saying? Which I seen it, because there were times where I was reading the X-Men run that Jim Lee did, and I didn't know where Jim Lee's work started. I mean, I knew where Jim Lee works began, but I didn't know when Jim Lee left, because I wasn't there. I mean, I was there, but I wasn't old enough to notice the difference. Because I forgot the artist's name who did the work like Jim Lee, and I'm like, wow, that's very impressive. So who knows? He was just probably told, like, hey, make this work look as beautiful as possible, and we want to get Oliver Coppola, but we can't afford him, so we're going to get you, and because you can duplicate their work. Okay, they're duplicating their work a little bit too much, to the point where it's not even that much of changes, to the point where the shadows and the color tones are being used. You know what I'm saying? At least if you're going to trace it or whatever, you know, change some things around. You get what I mean? Kind of like how I use, I'll give you an example of me using the artist's work. So if you guys know about Trinity from DC Rebirth, and y'all know that work is very like painted or whatever. So the artist who did the Trinity cover, I used their work, and I didn't trace it at all. What I did is I looked at how the artist drew the characters, and I referenced it from there, and then came up with my own characters from it, so it can look like what the artist did. You get what I'm saying? So basically what I did is I created shapes from the image, right? And then once I got the shapes that I wanted, and then I envisioned the characters that I wanted to draw like that, and that's how I came up with the picture. It's the same poses that the artist did, but with different characters, where it looks completely different, if that makes sense. You get what I mean? So doing something like that. But as far as like doing an entire comic book, you know, tracing somebody else's work and claiming it as your own, that's kind of terrible. But at the same time, I get it, because Marvel and DC are cheap, and why would you want to put that much money into it? Which is kind of terrible, because, you know, we did buy the book, but I brought the book not knowing that this work was traced, or not knowing who the artist was, because I just said I'm going to buy the Phoenix book because I want to see if it's worth a solo run. And so far, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, this was horrible. It was an average story that did leave you kind of wanting, like, okay, how is this alien and this dark god going to take on the Phoenix or whatever? Because you can't really kill the Phoenix, so I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, you can kill her, but she's just going to come back, you know. So it is what it is, right? But yeah, so the Phoenix controversy is like, it makes you wonder, okay, what is issue number 2 going to look like? Because I don't know if I'm going to pick it up. If you guys want me to collect the Phoenix, let me know. I will do that for you guys. But I will see what issue number 2 is like. So I will check that out. But so far, with the whole controversy, it is kind of sad that the Phoenix story is being wrapped up in controversy, because honestly, this should be like Stephanie Phillips finally having a moment where people will be like, wow, okay, that wasn't half bad. But instead, you got you got this controversy that people can't even focus on the story because the art is clearly traced or stolen. So I don't know. It is one of those crazy kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I get it, y'all. I definitely get it. But hey, it makes you be like, because honestly, what is it telling other artists? You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, even though I'm not like a professional artist, it makes me be like, shoot, what should I just go and just like grab other people's artwork and just trace over it and make sure I mimic the coloring and inking, and then bam, I can sell a book. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that some people haven't done that before, because people have, but it's just like, you know, art is art, right? And it's like, it's one of the reasons why some people, especially beginning artists or, you know, intermediate artists, you know, kind of quit. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that that's not one of the reasons why I just said fuck it to art. That's why I like killed my social media accounts for like, you know, Instagram and them, because it's just like, I'm doing all this work. I'm actually like trying to improve my work or whatever. I'm trying to draw or whatever. And then I got people telling me how terrible I am. But then these same people are the ones going and buying people who are literally scamming people out of work. I mean, scamming people artwork, and then talking about how amazing this work is. Or be like, oh, you're just jealous that you're not hired by Marvel or DC. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things like, well, damn. You know, damn if you do, damn if you don't. And I can see why some people, you know, do go the route of like taking others' artwork and making profit off of it, because when you got something like that happening, what can you do? But I don't know. This is getting a little bit too long, but I just kind of wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. Without the controversy, yes, I would recommend Phoenix #1 to read if you like Jean Grey Phoenix. But with the controversy, I can understand why you wouldn't buy the book. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.